Wow, hey, we are in the book of Joshua. Yes, we are going to introduce to you the book. Get your writing utensils ready to take notes, lots of notes, and hopefully it will help you understand it better as we go along in the chapter. Joshua consists of three types of material: the narrative of conquest under the leadership of the Lord, who fought for Israel as a warrior, make up Joshua 2 to 11. Chapter 12 to 21 consists of geographic in the form of lists and description. Theological addresses constitute the book introduction in chapter 1 and conclusion in chapter 23 and 24. Narrative, geographic, and address all claim the land of promise for Israel. The individual stories of Joshua, which began as folk tales about local victories, were written down and gathered a connection, into a connected narrative as the triumph of unified Israel in chapter 2 to 11. Later, this story was re-edited, going to chapters 1 to 12 and 23, to form part of the history of Israel in the land told from the perspective of Deuteronomy theology. Scholars call this larger work Deuteronomy through Second King, except for Ruth. The Deuteronomistic, the Deuteronomistic history. It was written just before or just after the end of the monarchy in Judah, later 7th and or early 6th century BCE. Finally, the geographical material of chapter 13 to 21, the story of chapter 22, and a second conclusion on chapter 24 were added. Israel's possession of the land was almost always endangered by outside attack or foreign rules. The threat came first from their local neighbors, but later from the major world empire of Assyria, Babylon, and Persia. The book of Joshua served generation after generation as a call to obedience, loyalty to God, and as a claim on the land God had promised them. The narrative portion of Joshua in chapter 1 to 11, chapter 22 to 24, were the most interesting. They may be read straight through as a connected story begins with the death of Moses and ending with the death of Joshua. The readers should look for the interconnection among the individual stories. And Robert chapter 2 leads to Jericho in chapter 6, which lead to Asham in chapter 7, which lead in turn to the captive of Ai in chapter 8, and so forth. It is a good idea to keep a map or Bible atlas open in order to follow the action. The geographic of conquest falls into three campaigns: Central, chapter 6 and 8, South, chapter 10, North, chapter 11. In addition, it is helpful to read the battle report from the perspective of holy war, as presented in chapter 20 and Deuteronomy 20. Okay? Chapter 1 to 12 talk about Joshua conquers the land. chapter 13 to 21, Joshua divided the land. Joshua 22, 20 to 24, warning about the future. Where you going? Where you going? Hmm? Where you going? Hmm? No. 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 We're worthy to be praised. You are worthy to be praised. Yeah, you give me all. We